The fate of the entire human species rests in the hands of an extraterrestrial entity slouched in a metallic chair, floating 300 miles above Earth. He looks exactly like a giant glowing marshmallow. In J.D. Strunk's story, First Contact, a remarkably average homicide detective is selected for an audience with this entity, an alien who goes by the name Kirby. Kirby hasn't traveled across the galaxy to conquer. He's there to evaluate. This ledger tracks Kirby's evaluation metric, a weight between two opposing forces. One side represents an awe-inspiring capacity for life and love, while the other holds a capacity for hideous, unimaginable terror. Currently, the dark side is winning. Because of that terror, Kirby's Galactic Committee usually leans toward total eradication. They've granted Earth a temporary stay of execution, exactly 300 Earth years until a galactic conference decides our ultimate fate. The evidence file for this cosmic trial exists in the work of independent author J.D. Strunk. His collection of genre-spanning fiction serves as a detailed ledger of the traits Kirby is judging. Cracking open these stories, ranging from sci-fi satire to dark horror, reveals the specific exhibits that will either condemn our species or save it. Strunk uses these stylized worlds as a mirror, forcing us to face the truths of our own nature before the Galactic Conference convenes. The systemic horror found in Masters of the Universe populates the terror column. Billionaire Johnny Galt Jr. lives in a pristine, artificial bubble while the natural world around him is systematically dismantled. Strunk depicts a billionaire class that dredges oceans and removes fire extinguishers from public buildings, purely to increase quarterly profits. They poison lakes with toxic sludge and dismantle unions, watching their bank accounts multiply while the environment decays. Strunk contrasts this systemic greed with the intimate terror of conversion. This story follows Vance, a strictly pious teenager who spends his time aggressively policing the morality of his peers. When a group of vagrants enters his town, Vance intends to run them out. But a few weeks later, his friend discovers Vance sitting by their fire, happily eating the breaded flesh of his missing classmate just to fit in with the group. In Strunk's view, the desire for wealth and societal conformity isolates us from our own morality. Whether it's a CEO destroying a forest or a fundamentalist joining a cannibalistic cult, we abandon our humanity to serve the group. Strunk shifts to the beauty side of the ledger in Lessers, a story set in a fascist dystopia where genetic perfection is mandated by law. Two mismatched soldiers, too tall and so small, find a rare connection by debating the films of Quentin Tarantino in the middle of a wasteland. It is a human moment forged in the center of a gray, brutal regime. The regime eventually institutes a new height minimum for survival, marking the diminutive so small for execution. Tasked with hunting his friend, the giant too tall commits an act of profound beauty. He risks a firing squad to give so small a 10-second head start to escape into the woods. This sacrifice mirrors the detective's testimony in First Contact. He begs a judge for mercy toward a convicted murderer because he intimately understands the man's grief over a lost brother. In Strunk's universe, beauty manifests as the dangerous burden of showing mercy and loyalty in a world that demands ruthlessness. Strunk's real-world inspiration, drawn directly from his author interview, clarifies the intent behind these stories. He views human existence through a lens of existential angst. We live on a fragile blue orb, floating in an infinite, terrifying void, surrounded by nothingness. Strunk uses sci-fi tropes as Trojan horses to strip away our mundane distractions, exposing the raw vulnerability underneath. His core philosophy is simple. The greatest gift humans have is connection. He contrasts the toxic isolation of a billionaire with the rebellious empathy of a soldier to prove this point. One man has everything and loses his soul. The other has nothing and saves a life. As Kirby's clock ticks toward our cosmic trial, empathy remains our most effective defense against the void. It is the only thing that matters when the final verdict is read.